Hello foam fanatics, it's Gerard from Shifting Lens, and today I want to show you a circular cutting board. Now you may be familiar with this one, but I don't want to talk about this cutting board. I want to talk about this cutting board. So this is the upgrade, the circular cutting board 2.0. Let's see what it can do. The circular cutting board 2.0, well, this is how it looks, and it looks very similar to the previous one. Same size, they both have a nail. So actually you can use this circular cutting board the same way as the previous one. You put it on the machine, you determine the diameter of the cylinder you want to cut, you put the block on, put the power on, and off you go. So in this case, nothing new, just like the old circular cutting board. But just to show you, this is also the way you can cut your cylinders on the 2.0 version. And there you have your cylinder. So far so good, but now the question, what else is new about this cutting board? First of all, I can remove the nail, and as from now I will only work with this board in this manner. Again, I want to show you an option, another option, or a different way to cut your circles. Here we have an opening, and in this opening this little piece of wood slides up and down. And you see, by pushing away or pushing towards the wire, the nail gets closer to the wire, and pull it towards me, it gets further away. With this little, let's say, roadblocks, I can determine how far I can push this nail towards the wire. And in this way I can determine how large a block or a cylinder will be. So let's say I want to make a cylinder that is, well, 10, that is 10 centimeters diameter. So the nail is at the 10. I take my block, put the nail in, power on, and I move the whole block towards the wire. It cannot go any further because of the roadblock, and now I start turning. Gently pressing the block down, gently still pushing the block a little bit forward, and while doing so, keep rotating. And when I'm full circle, I pull back. And there you have a perfect circle. If I want to make this circle a little bit smaller, that's not a problem. I switch the roadblock. Now I will take 5 millimeters off, get in, turn it. Again, gently pressing the block down. Also pressing the block a little bit forwards towards the wire, and while doing so keep rotating. And when I'm full circle, get back, and here you go. So this is another way to cut circles. In preparation, I've made 2 cylinders of roughly 12 centimeter diameter, and I want to split this cylinder perfectly in half. For this I will be using this Y section, put the block in and push the cylinder through the wire And now I have two perfect half blocks. Again, I want to cut this block in half. So I put it on the machine. I have a dotted line here, so now it's perfectly in line with that dotted line. I push it, and again I split this block into two parts of the same size. Repeat it with this block. And now my cylinder has been split into 4 separate parts. I can do this with this block as well, and I can make a whole bunch. Now what's the use? Okay, here we go. I remove this piece, I remove this piece, and I have here a series of little jigs that help me to create domes. And for this video I decided to use the 6, put the other ones aside. I will prepare this in a way that this jig fits onto the board, and here it fits. And now I can push this, as you can see, to and fro. Take one of my quarter cylinder pieces and I will cut an angle. Next one. For this video I will use only 4. If I make a dome which is 6-sided, I should use 6, but just to give you an example, I will do it with the 4 pieces I have over here. So from my side, all the right sides of these blocks are cut in this specific angle. Now I want to cut the other side. So what do? Flip it over. Put it back in, and there we go again. And the final one. Okay, so if I put these blocks together like this, I will now create a 6-sided dome. As you can see, the opening, there is an opening. So it's like I have a 6-sided tower with some kind of roof, and then the tower extends. But if I really would like to have a closed dome, then the answer is very simple. Just take a side step, remove this part, take my guider, and exactly point out, let me see, a little bit. The wire has to be exactly here on this point, to get it nicely close. So let's try. That's one. Again, this is just a side step from the circular cutting board. Almost there. 1, 2, 3, 4. Again, I only had 4 pieces, should be 5, but I think you get the idea. So have to glue these together, and I have my 6-sided dome. So with this tool, we have the option to make a 4-sided dome, a 5, a 6, a 8, and even a 10-sided dome. In this example, this was the 6-sided one, but here are a few examples of the 4-sided one. A little bit pointier, a little bit less pointy, you could say. I've made a 5-sided one, a little bit larger, an 8-sided one, and here a massive whopping 10-sided one. So yeah, there's a lot to discover. There's a lot to still work out for myself as well, but it's really fun making these structures. Okay, so far I made a few of these cylinders, and if I use this new way of cutting circles, then I can cut circles as small as 6 centimeters, 2+ inch in diameter. Now I can imagine you want even thinner cylinders, and that's possible. But for this I will be using this little gadget, and now I'm able to make very thin cylinders, even out of these very thin blocks. So let me prepare this tool and show you how it works. Okay, fastened on the top, fastened on the bottom. And to make it simple, I can place my circular cutting board a little bit away or a little bit to the wire, so I can determine the size of the cylinder. Now let's see if it works. So I move it in, and if I'm there, I will start turning. All the way around. And if I'm full circle, I will pull the jig back. So let's see. And there you have a very nice, thin, perfect, round cylinder. Perfectly for making pillars, for instance, or whatever you like. And then we have this final add-on for the circular cutting board 2.0. I have my cylinder, I have this gadget, and there's a screw in it, and I will fasten this foam block onto this little jig. A little bit of resistance, that's enough. So here we go. I put it again in this slot so it can shift to and fro. And now we go. Okay. Let's see what this does. Here we go. Number 1. This may take a while, so this is the first cut of many, many cuts. Okay, all the way through. Now, clockwise, a little nudge and back. And clockwise means that you always turn the block in the same direction. Actually, fasten it more and more onto the screw. Second layer. As you can see, thin slice after thin slice. You can make larger slices, but you will see what this will be in the end. Okay, so I think it was the fourth one, so let's go for the fifth one. And since I have to repeat this quite a few times, I think we can go fast forward now. Okay, so I lost count, but I made a lot of cuts, as you can see. But it pays off. I mean, I think I have an almost perfect dome here in my hand. And no, it's not perfect. You see some irregularities. There's also a few foam layers still on there, but it's getting better. And if you take your time with a little bit of sanding paper, you might end up with something like these. Well, this wraps up the introduction of the circular cutting board 2.0. And yes, you can actually cut circles like the ones I've made here. And you can do that on the normal, let's say the 1.0 circular cutting board. But as you can see, you can make nice domes, even very thin pillars, and above all, domes. I hope you liked the video. You can find links in the description below where to purchase this item and many more useful links for sure. So thank you for watching, have a great day and keep on crafting.